So, you know, it's being comfortable with the uncomfortable.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. And letting it go.
Yeah. It's so, you know, I think we miss so much in life when the way we do make assumptions about things and then shut the door on that and say, well, this is my lot in life and it's never going to change. I think that if we only remembered that that there is always possibility and different outcomes, I think life would be we would relax a lot more, wouldn't we?
Absolutely.
We'd find much more joy and not, like our last show, stress about
Mess of stress.
the mess of stress of what we think the outcomes are. And it's like, you know, watching a movie, and I know it's Hollywood and it's set up that way, but I sit there, I'm a very captive audience, and go, how is he going to get out of this? He'll never get out of this. And then he does, and I go, remember that when things look really dark and that there are no other alternatives, if we look beyond push the envelope or the normal questions that we may ask ourselves, there's a whole different outcome waiting for us.
There's a world of endless opportunity. It's just what we want to choose. Which route do we want to go? But in order to know that, we have to be in touch with ourselves.
Yeah.
And we have to drop the facade. We have to drop our story and open our heart. And that's what life is all about. Who cares, you know, if it's not the norm? I mean, it would be wonderful to have a child at 61 and have fun and take him hiking in the Himalayas. I didn't go to the Himalayas when I was 51. I didn't go there when I was 41. So, God, take a little child in the Himalayas would be great.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm sure the experience of fatherhood, of being, if this you know, happens, that it will be so much more than what you would seem it to be.
Yes.
Because of who you are now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a different person. I'm not the same person.
Yeah.
We're never the same person, and we can't go backwards.
Yeah.
And, you know, life is all about the journey once again. And the journey doesn't end. It just keeps going.
I'm so discombobulated. I wanted to play with our audience and with you about how things are not what they seem to be. Okay. So I brought in some pictures, and I want you to look at the pictures and tell me what you see.
Oh my.
So I'm gonna put the picture here. What do you see, John?
Well, I always have trouble with these because I usually see the obvious and not the not so obvious.
Well, so don't think about it. What do you see?
I see a very homely old lady.
You see a crone?
Yes.
An old crone?
Yes. But then, if you look at her eyes are gorgeous. They can't belong to that homely crone. So there's more to this picture than appears to the eye. There's probably another face in there somewhere, and
there is.
Someone a little more pretty.
Oh, you cheat, John. Yeah, there is. There is this beautiful. I'm gonna cover this so that it's easy for our audience at home to see. This is a picture of a young woman. She's got a feather, you know, lovely little nose. If I remove this actually, there's the crone. Here's her chin, her mouth. She's wearing a babushka.
Well, what I think this really means, it's like Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
There's beauty behind every crone or beast. So you have to go by the energy.
All right, next. La la. What do you see, John?
Oh, I love this one. Well, I see this wonderful love connection.
So you see
two lovers.
Two lovers, right.
Yes.
And that's what I saw, in a perfume bottle.
Right.
Right. Do you know that when they asked children what they saw, because that's not their myth structure, what children see they see 8 dolphins in this picture. Crazy.
I like the two lovers.
Oh yeah, but you know what? I'm
romantic.
kind of cool with the dolphins, and the dolphins are here. Here's a dolphin. There's the tail. Here's a dolphin, a dolphin, a dolphin, and a dolphin. Oh, fantastic. To be 6 again. Isn't that awesome?
I know. I'd rather be 20. I
I'd
like the
still
other
see
picture.
dolphins.
No, forget the dolphins. They're all
Okay.
right.
What do you see?
Just a very strange-looking man.
Right. Kind of like jazzy.
Yeah, jazz,
Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah, that's what I saw.
Harlem
But-
jazz.
Right, but on further looking, there's actually the word liar spelled out.
Oh my God, you're right. I love it.
L-I-A-R.
That is fabulous. Now I don't see the man anymore. Oh, he just came back.
Yeah, but that's like life, right?
But it's like looking at a person and seeing through their facade.
Yeah. You know, I don't know why I keep thinking about this, but, you know, like children who are mongoloid. I don't know why I'm jumping to this, but I keep seeing the image of it. When we look at them and we think, you know, that dear soul, what, you know, the limitations that must be present in their life. That's what we mostly think. But if you talk to parents of mongoloids, these are their angels. They're their great teachers.
Well, they're very loving children.
Yes.
They're incredible. And they're loving. I had a mongoloid cousin who died when he was 53. And at 53, he was the most loving, beautiful child you'd ever want to meet. Childlike adult. And he just saw goodness in everyone.
Yeah.
So there's an incredible positive energy around these children. They're blessed with that. You know, maybe you see the very beautiful woman or handsome man who's very stern and standoffish. Maybe they should get a little bit of mongoloidism and become a little more loving and melt the facade, and you'd have a much better mix.
Well, how many times has it happened when you meet someone and you instantly dislike them?
Right.
Or you instantly like them.
Right.
And let's say you choose to dislike them. We shut down around that person. We don't allow them into our energy, our space, or our life. And what we may miss is maybe one of the most extraordinary people that we could possibly know. And we do it all the time.
Well, you know where I see that? We profile people. So we see someone, we profile them by their occupation. So someone is a prostitute. And we say, oh.
Right, we have all our feelings about prostitutes.
So that's it. Can't be a good person, can't be anything nice.
Right.
And you see someone who's a CEO of a major corporation who's robbing it blind and selling his soul. Who's the prostitute?
Exactly. And really, the prostitute, whether it's a man or a woman, can be incredibly lighted, very loving, very generous.
And generous and kind.
Yes.
And authentic.
Where the CEO
is greedy,
is a
cruel.
shark. Right, and not to label that all CEOs are like that, but it's
this particular one.
What we assume, what we assume.
So I think the more is to ask the question, not the answer, because you go to the person who's the CEO.
That's a great next show.
Oh yes, I know.
The journey's in the question, not the answer.
And it ties in so well because you ask the CEO, why did you become a CEO? Really ask the question and corner him. And maybe he'll be honest and say, I'm greedy, I'm insecure, and I just wanted to rob all I could. And maybe you would ask the prostitute, why'd you become a prostitute? Because I didn't know anything else. And I do it with love and kindness, and I do it with concern for my clients and for myself and respect for myself. And I don't do it out of greed, I do it out of necessity. But it won't be my life forever because I will evolve based on what I've accomplished here. I had no other options in life.
Right.
So,
you know,
who's
listen,
bad?
right, and they do provide a service, and if you know, and maybe they saying, I just want to be the best prostitute that I can be, and there, you know, there's healing work in that too.
Absolutely,
there really is.
Yeah.
It's like a friend of mine was talking about being in war. He was in Vietnam, and we assume. I know I've always at the time, they really weren't drafting women. And I always thought, oh God, this is one of the reasons why I'm really happy to be a woman, because I can't imagine the terror that a soldier must feel being in battle. And he was saying that his platoon was ambushed, and they were looking death in the face. It was going to happen. And listening to the story, or we would think that must be the most horrifying, terrifying moment that you could possibly experience. And what the experience was for him was complete peace and surrender.
Because he had no choice.
Right, and things are not what they seem to be.
Absolutely. Well, this has been a great show.
Yes.
And we had a pleasant surprise, and this has been a lot of fun. And we have to do this more often.
I think so. I think we should put it out there that we're at MNN Studios, and anybody wants to drop by can. That would be awesome.
Absolutely. Everyone's invited to our family table.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I want to say this has been a really amazing show for me personally. It really touched me, and it was an extremely eye-awakening show. Many years ago, about 8 years ago, I was told by a little boy who I never knew. He didn't know me. I knew his mother. And he said, you know, Dr. Querci, there's one thing I have to tell you. It's going to be the most important thing you'll ever learn from anyone. Now, this little boy was 5 years old. And he said, remember this. Things aren't always what they appear to be. And boy, has that hit home this year. It's amazing. And it really hit home in this show. And this has been a wonderful personal experience for me.
Yeah, you know, we actually got to experience, I mean, things are not what they seem to be. Our show, we had a show that we planned out, and if we stayed with that and didn't allow the energy of Lori in, we wouldn't have had the experience and the show that we had.
Absolutely.
So if, you know, so I get, the message is to be open to other possibilities, that the way something looks can have a totally different color if we allow it, call it into our life, and don't shut down because we know that, because we're deciding that this is the way things need to look.
So welcome whatever the universe has waiting for you. Don't try to judge it or analyze it. Go with the flow. If it feels good, do it. And don't judge it. So thank you everyone for joining us tonight.
Yes.
For another one of our series of self-exploration, from fear to love.
Thank you for watching.
Thank you.
Namaste.
Namaste.